The Indus River in Pakistan is as precious as gold. Its waters trickle through human dreams, permeates lives, dictates agriculture, religion, and warfare. Some of the world's first cities, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Amri, and others were built on its banks. The Indus Valley has continuous history of political, religious, and literary ferment stretching back thousands of years. In the end of July, unprecedented rains poured down the slopes of the western Himalayas, gushing quickly down the tributaries into the Indus River. The rainwater gave rise to floods of catastrophic proportions. This flood caused havoc and affected 20 million people in Pakistan, more than the combined total of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the 2005 Kashmir earthquake, and the 2010 Haiti earthquake. After flooding Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Punjab provinces, heavy flow entered Sindh in the first week of August at Guttu. Heavy rainfall for 5 days in Koh-Suleiman areas added more water, resulting in a sudden increase in water flow by over 1 million cusecs. Pressure on bunds caused breach into Tori Dike in district Kashmir. A parallel river flow started on the right bank. Sindh witnessed large-scale dislocation of population never known in the history of this land. The population of 8 districts was displaced and rendered homeless, who took shelter in camps, schools, tents, and under open sky on the river dikes. The Sindh Chief Minister Sayyid Qaim Ali Shah deputed his cabinet members on embankments to monitor flood situation and to take steps for the safety of the dikes and shift people to safer places. The Chief Minister himself day and night continued visiting every nook and corner, supervised setting up of camps, and surveyed flood areas through helicopter, boats, and by road. Despite all efforts, floods inundated 11,601 villages and small towns including Ghospur, Karampur, Tangwani, Gadi Khairo, and Qubo Said Khan. Thousands of people fled to save their lives, leaving behind everything they owned. In the Deltaic region, high tide in the Arabian Sea blocked river flow into the ocean, raising pressure on bunds. This pressure breached Mulchand Surjani Dike in district Thatta. Flood waters inundated the towns of Sujawal and Jati, forcing its 100,000 residents to flee. Water level in the town center was up to 1.5 meters. 500,000 flood victims were camped at Makli. Most lacked any shelter and were in desperate need of food and shelter. Khairpur Nathan Shah was submerged. Indus Highway was damaged. Sevan Airport was inundated. The people remained trapped in areas accessible only by airlift. Only water was visible for kilometers, and village after submerged village with people stuck on rooftops. President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani also visited the flooded areas and have personally witnessed the devastation in Sindh. Sindh has more than 4,000 makeshift relief camps. Everyone has seen homeless people on television screens. The miles-long procession of barely recognizable humanity, the materially dispossessed, the broken, and the bowed. Traumatized, lives shattered. You expect the flood victims to look a certain way, but it is more than that. The victims are clearly new acquaintances of adversity. You can hear it in their voices, see it in their eyes, and sense it through their leathery skin. Seeing the broken bodies, the sunken eyes captured through a photographer's lens, The magnitude of needs remains extremely high. Over 7.6 million people were displaced in Sindh. The government diverted its development budget to the relief and rescue operation, but it proved insufficient. Educational institution buildings were converted into relief camps, but the number of displaced persons was much higher. People were settled in makeshift camps by arranging tents. The tents were shot to meet the requirement. Still, the majority of them is living on roads or embankments. The situation for children is critical. Majority of IDPs is children and women. They are estimated to be 70% of the total dislocated population. The province sustained extensive damage to infrastructure and crops. Structural damages are estimated to exceed $5,052 million according to official estimates. Famine, hunger, disease, and even starvation are hanging over the heads of millions. Even in the best scenario, there will be a prolonged disruption of normal activities across the province. The floods ravaged Sindh, created a human tragedy beyond imagination. 199 people lost their lives, 700 injured. Many families have lost their homes, fields, crops, cattle, just everything. The surging waters destroyed most of the bridges and other installations. Floods submerged over 2.6 million acres of Sindh's cropland. For many farmers, the loss of their animals is a big blow. 228,000 livestock was killed and massive amounts of grains was washed away. A major concern is that farmers will be unable to plow new seeds, meaning a massive loss of food production in 2011, potentially leading to long-term food shortages. The agricultural damages are more than $1,595 million. Over 0.9 million acres of lost cotton crops, 0.2 million acres of vegetables and fruit farms, and 200,000 acres of rice, in addition to the loss of 0.6 tons of stocked wheat, animal fodder, and the stored grain washed away. The floods damaged 8,000 kilometers of roads. Cost estimations for highway damages are $460 million. In Sindh, it is a disaster of biblical scope. The floods took 1 week or so in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Punjab, while in Sindh it stayed for 50 days. Sindh will take years to recover from the damage caused by the flooding. There is 45% poverty here, but now the number would rise. Vulnerable population, poor rural are affected. Millions of undernutrient people are affected with hepatitis and other diseases. Many families have lost everything they owned. As a first installment, 20,000 rupees are being paid to each of IDPs through Watan Card to ensure transparency in the relief work. The cost of long-term reconstruction aid for devastated cities, towns and villages is likely to run into tens of billions. The poor province, already under heavy debts of donors and federal government, cannot meet this uphill task on its own. These people need your help. A contribution can help in rebuilding these broken lives and bring a smile on their innocent faces. Have you had a kindness shown? Pass it on. 'Twas not given for thee alone. Pass it on. Let it travel down the years. Let it wipe another's tears, till in heaven the deed appears. Pass it on.